They said I was nothing, wasting my life in the military. At family dinner, they laughed, unaware that tomorrow I'd hold their project's fate. Silently, I waited. Truth would speak for me. I'm Juliet Dane, 30, Colonel in the US Army commanding cybersecurity. Tomorrow, I'll face my father and brother in a defense contract meeting. They don't know I'm the Pentagon's liaison with final approval authority. 5 years ago, I left home, never looking back. My father called the military for the aimless. I, his daughter who ditched business school, refusing a corner office, was his disappointment. That was our last real conversation. Tonight, I'm back for family dinner. Mom will boast about Logan's promotion. Dad will nod, proud. Someone will ask if I'm still wandering with the military. I won't argue, is that won't correct, because tomorrow when my father's boss calls me Colonel Dane, silence will echo louder than words. The driveway's narrower than memory, my rented SUV out of place beside Mom's old minivan. I cut the engine, lingering as the heater's warmth fades. Hands steady, soldier calm, but my stomach twists like before a mission. The porch light glows warm, illuminating a frayed welcome mat, chipped door paint. Cracked steps, brittle fence. Everything's unchanged. So is the feeling inside me, invisible yet judged. I ring the bell, old habit. Juliet, Mom calls from the kitchen. Not coming. It's open. I step in, greeted by stale floral scent, walls lined with Logan's photos, graduation, wedding, 2 sons. No picture of me in uniform, though I sent a portrait after my promotion 5 years ago. Dinner's almost ready, Mom says, not looking up. Logan and Meryl are coming. Logan got promoted. You wouldn't believe it. I smile. That's great, Mom. Tell him congrats. He's leading their systems integration team, she continues, eyes bright. Everyone says he's going places. Going places, a phrase that once haunted me, like a train I missed. Now it's just noise. The table's set for 6, no place cards, but seats are unspoken. Logan at the head, Dad to his right, Mom in the middle, me, somewhere unimportant. Logan arrives on time, sharp in a suit, Meryl with a bottle of wine no one really likes. Jules? Logan hugs lightly, eyes already on Dad. Been a while. 5 years, I say. He blinks, unsure if I'm joking. I'm not. We eat pot roast, mashed potatoes, salad Mom's made since I was 10. Logan talks non-stop, company restructuring, performance bonuses, the military contract he's spearheading. Dad watches him, eyes gleaming with pride. Mom turns to me, forced smile. You still travelling with the military? I sip water, something like that. Still a captain? Dad asks, eyes on his plate. Close, I say. Must be tough, always in the field, Logan adds. No long-term strategy, just following orders, right? I stay silent. My uniform, Colonel's insignia, sits folded in my upstairs suitcase. Tomorrow, they'll see what strategy I command. Tonight, I let them talk, the last time they'll drown out my voice. That night, I sit on my old bed under the quilt Grandma made when I was 12. Trophies on shelves, basketball, honor roll, college acceptance letter. All froze the day I chose ROTC. Since then, I became a cautionary tale, the girl who wasted potential. No photo of my commissioning, no article on my cyber award, no certificate for major or lieutenant colonel. My greatest title, Colonel US Army Cybersecurity, age 30, vanished in this house. The day I announced my ROTC scholarship, I waited for hesitation. But Dad looked at me like I'd destroyed my life. The military is for the directionless, he said. You were meant for more. More, to him, meant an MBA, a corner office under Westbridge Technologies. Logan stepped into that frame perfectly and the family narrative closed. I was the lost one. Laughter echoes downstairs. Dad's deep, Mom's soft, Logan's confident, the sound of a family orbiting the chosen son. I'm used to it, but now it's ironic. Logan boasts about leading the integration team on a military contract, the very project I oversee. They don't know and I don't say. I open my suitcase, remove the uniform, deep green, folded perfectly. Colonel's insignia gleams, patches straight. I inspect every stitch, polish brass buttons with a cloth I brought. No emotion, just ritual. Tomorrow isn't revenge. It's proof, through presence, through power, that needs no words. The next morning I arrive at Westbridge Technologies 15 minutes early. The parking lot is full of rushing employees, lanyards swinging. I park in the Department of Defense liaison spot, step out, straighten my collar. Heads turn, some surprised, some standing taller. Good morning, Colonel. The guard scans my badge, voice respectful. In the elevator, I recall the floor plan. No hesitation. Doors open. Logan stands near the window, flipping a tablet, confident. He sees me, hesitates. Juliet, why are you wearing... What is this? Good morning, Mr. Dane, I say, walking past. I'm here to review the project. Dad appears, talking to two men in blue suits. He stops cold at the sight of me. Juliet, what is this? Why are you dressed like that? Before I reply, Lorraine Hart, CEO of Westbridge, approaches beaming. Colonel Dane, we didn't expect you in person. What an honour. I shake her hand. I'm nearby, thought I'd attend. Lorraine turns to the group. This is Colonel Juliet Dane, Pentagon Liaison for Project Sentinel, final military integration approval. The hallway holds its breath. I don't look at Dad or Logan. The silence says enough. We enter the boardroom, my nameplate at the head beside Lorraine's. I sit, reviewing notes, waiting. Directors, engineers, project leads introduce themselves, voices cautious. They know I hold millions in funding. Logan and Dad enter last, sit distant, rigid. The meeting begins at 9 sharp. Lorraine opens, then yields to me. Thank you, Colonel Dane, for attending. Your oversight and technical guidance are invaluable. I rise, outline benchmarks, demand strict revisions before the next funding phase. My eyes meet each person's, ask pointed questions, request precise documentation. When it's Logan's turn, he stands, voice shaky. On Phase 2 systems integration, I believe our strategy meets performance targets. Arms folded, I respond, Mr. Dane, explain how your method meets the latency threshold from the Pentagon's memo. He hesitates. I'll need to review that section. Do so, I say. The standard is non-negotiable. Submit a revised draft by Thursday. He nods, barely audible. Yes, ma'am. The room stays quiet, then resumes. I lead as if nothing happened, but everything has changed. The meeting ended near noon. Lorraine emphasized transparency, then turned to me. Colonel Dane will remain until tomorrow, assisting in the next evaluation. Provide her full access and cooperation. Everyone left the room, eyes no longer curious, now respectful. I didn't just have a seat at the table, I led it. Dad stood in near the glass wall, like someone expecting praise but facing judgment. Juliet, he called, voice trying to retain authority. We need to talk. I nodded. Your office. Inside, Mom sat stiffly in the guest chair. Logan leaned by the window, jaw clenched. My family, the childhood jury, now facing me. I stood, hands behind me, calm, unapologetic. How long have you been a colonel? Dad asked, voice low. 6 months. I replied. 6 months, he repeated, hollow. Why didn't you tell us? I did, I said gently. Invited you to the promotions and sent emails, news clips, voicemails. No one replied. Mom interjected, voice trembling. We didn't understand what it meant. Colonel sounds high-ranking, but I stopped explaining my worth. I cut in. Every call began with Logan's project, your sales. No one asked about me, except to suggest leaving the military, coming home. Logan shifted. We thought you were stuck, constantly relocating, not moving up. Last night you said the military only follows orders, I said. You laughed when you said it. He fell silent, eyes down. Mom fumbled in her purse, hesitant. Juliet, we don't know what to say. We should have been there for your commissioning, graduation, everything. I stopped expecting you to show, I said, honestly. The silence that followed was heavy, needed. Dad cleared his throat. What do you want now? A public apology? A company memo? I want nothing, I said. Only what I always deserved, respect for my work, my choices, and to not be called a failure for not following your plan. Logan stepped away from the window. Today you reviewed my presentation, fairly. You didn't embarrass me. I did my job, I replied. I'm impressed, he said softly. You really lead. His first honest compliment. Dad stood, not moving closer. You've built something we don't understand. That's our fault. We thought we knew better. His voice wasn't defeated, just beginning. He extended his hand, not performative, but like a salute I knew well, silent respect. Colonel Dane, he said, voice rough, I owe you an apology. I underestimated you. I shook his hand, firm, without resentment, just closure. I accept. Mom blinked back tears, stood. We'd like to try again, if you'll let us. One step at a time, I said, believing for the first time it might be possible. 6 months later, my apartment in Washington, D.C. was quiet, full. The living room opened to a view of the Potomac, night sky clear. Bookshelves held medals beside cybersecurity texts, a few mission plaques. That night, my family came for dinner, at my table, on my ground. Dad arrived early, holding a framed article, me in uniform beside General Armstrong and Lorraine Hart, celebrating Project Sentinel's success. I've had this in my office for months, he said. avoiding my eyes. "Thanks, Dad," I replied. "It means something," Mom followed, carrying apple pie. "Still love apples, right?" "Still do," I smiled. The apartment was tidy. She looked around. "How do you keep it this clean?" I almost joked military habit, but just nodded. She was trying, no need to comment. Logan and his wife came last, bringing expensive wine and a strange ease. After dinner, Logan pulled me aside. "I used that rollout structure you suggested. The team didn't like it at first, but it worked better." "Did you tell them who came up with it?" I asked, raising an eyebrow. He grinned, sheepish. "Eventually, after they thought I was a genius for 5 minutes. I laughed. "As long as it works." He nodded. "It does. And you really own the room." His first praise without mockery. Dad stood by the shelf, pausing at the cybersecurity medal, the one for stopping a federal breach. "I read about that," he said quietly. "Didn't know you led it." "I did," I replied. He nodded, said nothing more, but it was enough. Later, around coffee and Mom's pie, Dad raised a glass, voice deep. "To Colonel Juliet Dane, who proved value isn't found in someone else's path, but the one you forge yourself." Everyone raised their glasses. I looked around and saw something I never had as a child. Respect. Not pity, not tolerance, but earned recognition. In that moment, I understood. Victory wasn't them finally seeing me. It was that I kept going even when they didn't. I used to think I needed their acknowledgement, that if I tried hard enough, they'd finally see me. But the truth is, I didn't need them to become real. I was already enough. Walking into that boardroom, uniform crisp, wasn't vengeance. It was quiet clarity. I didn't need to explain who I was. My presence did that. They once said I was wasting potential, that I'd become nothing. But I stood there, leading the project they bet their careers on. That moment didn't erase the past, didn't heal every wound, but it did something bigger. Proved I didn't need their road to create worth. 6 months later, I'm still a colonel, still protecting national security. My family has learned to ask about my work, not just Logan's. Step by step, we're rebuilding. Not perfect, but real. If you've ever been dismissed, ever told you weren't enough, keep walking. Don't shout, don't beg. Just build, grow, show up. When the moment comes, walk in steady. Because the strongest proof isn't words, it's who you've quietly become. I didn't need them to define me, and neither do you. The road you walk, even alone, is the legacy you leave. Unshakable, undeniable.